We're talking politics on both sides of the Hudson today. Everything from immigration arrests, the indictment of a former FBI director, and the tightening race for governor of New Jersey. The Point starts right now. When an ICE agent threw a woman to the ground in immigration court, she fled to Congressman Dan Goldman's office for safety. He's here to talk about that and so much more. But let's talk about this immigration case. On Friday, that immigration agent was let go. I wonder how you feel about that and about what's been going on in immigration court.
Look, I was pleased that Secretary Noem took immediate action. I had certainly called on her to do that yesterday after speaking with the mother and her two young children after she had been thrown to the ground excessively violently by an ICE agent. And there's a general fear in communities all throughout this country right now, not just immigrant communities, so many others, as to what this militarization of ICE is doing, and the masked, unidentified, plainclothes ICE agents snatching people from court who are here lawfully. They are going through the asylum process, and this was just egregious. And so I was pleased. In fairness, I've been quite critical of Secretary Noem, but I was very pleased that she took action immediately.
Was it the right step to do?
It was the right step to do, but I'm not sure it's enough. And in part, it's not enough because we have a Justice Department now that is so one-sided and partisan that it has undermined credibility in our entire democracy, our rule of law. And when you have people like LaMonica McIver, my colleague from New Jersey, who was arrested for barely touching an ICE agent, and then you see this man throw a woman to the ground, like cases should be treated alike. And if, as Pam Bondi says, no one is above the law, then she needs to take a very close look at this case to see whether or not this individual violated the law. And Friday, Brad Lander and I sent a letter to Attorney General Bondi asking her, referring this case and asking her to investigate it consistent with the precedent she has set in this administration.
But you're a former federal prosecutor. What kind of charges do you think should be brought against this agent? Well,
there is a charge, deprivation of rights, and some of it depends on how serious the injury was, how serious the act was. And so that's going to be up to the prosecutors to determine whether or not this meets that element. But it is serious enough conduct that it's not simply enough to fire him. We need to set an example for agents all around the country. Because imagine this person did that on video camera in public. Imagine what they're doing behind closed doors in these immigration detention centers, where they will not let Congress, they will not let me go and inspect them, as I am statutorily allowed to do as part of my oversight responsibilities.
So you think it should send a message?
Yes, and I think that it also sends a message that no one is above the law. If that's what the Attorney General says about James Comey, about LaMonica McIver, then let's see it when it's someone in the administration.
Let me ask you this question. You have a situation where this thing happened and this woman came to your office. Did you get an opportunity to talk to her and get a sense of how she was feeling after this whole thing happened? I guess also after her husband had been taken into custody.
Right. So they had together, they are jointly filing for asylum, and they had a court appearance. He was taken out and arrested after that court appearance. Immediately after she came to my office, she was with an immigration advocate from the clergy who I've worked with on these issues before, and they came to my office. I happened to walk in shortly after, and we did get an opportunity to talk. And it just strikes me, what really blew me away was looking at her little kids, and I have little kids, and just imagining what's going through their mind. And at that point, her husband called and she put him on the phone with the little kids. And there was a boy, maybe 8 years old. And I don't speak Spanish, but I understood when he first picked up the phone and said, "¿Dónde está?" Where are you? When are you coming back? And just to see the shaken emotions of this woman who was injured in the back of her head and ended up going to the hospital, it's just not the way this country should operate. And we should make sure that we do not have people who are here illegally violating our laws, and that we have a lawful and measured immigration process. But we should not be using fear and terror to go after people who are actually going through lawful pathways, but more importantly, are human beings. And we're all come from immigrants here in this country. And it really rubs me to the craw that she was so shaken and fearful. And it's not the way that this country should operate.
But you have a bill called the No Secret Police Bill that would prevent ICE agents from wearing masks. You have 100 sponsors already. What are you trying to accomplish with that? And do you think it will actually get passed in Washington?
In a similar vein, right? We don't have secret police in this country. We are a democracy. We are transparent. Our law enforcement is transparent. We have due process rights. We have a very clear and settled justice system that operates on our right to a jury and other rights. And when you see plainclothes, masked agents going around striking fear and terror into anyone who's here, that is not democratic. That is reminiscent of authoritarian regimes. It is susceptible to imitation, and there have been people who have pretended to be ICE agents and have committed crimes, but it also is designed to terrorize. And that's just anti-democratic, and that's why so many of my colleagues have signed on to this bill.
Yeah, you brought up the case of James Comey, the former FBI director who was indicted. I wonder you're a former federal prosecutor. I wonder what your take is on the fact that this case was brought against the former FBI director.
It is, I think, the final nail in the coffin of the Department of Justice as we have known it, as I knew it.
Are you saying it's the weaponization of the Justice Department?
It is the open and brazen politicization and weaponization of the Justice Department. Now, you don't have to take my word for it, because Donald Trump said it himself. The U.S. attorney refused to charge this case because it has no merit. Donald Trump fired him, then directed Pam Bondi to hire a lackey of Donald Trump's who has no prosecutorial experience so that she would charge Jim Comey with really trumped up bogus charges. And there's no way of avoiding that this is Donald Trump's use of our criminal justice system for revenge and retribution against his political enemies. We've seen it already on a number of occasions, but this really puts the nail in the coffin that this Justice Department is a political arm of Donald Trump. And more importantly, I don't think it recovers so quickly. This is really foundational to our rule of law and our democracy. It calls into question every single investigation that is done by the FBI and the Department of Justice, and it undermines faith in our democracy and our system, and frankly, in the broader rule of law beyond criminal justice.
But Mr. Trump would probably argue that the Justice Department was weaponized by the Democrats against him. Is that a fair argument on his part?
He certainly does argue that. He argues that without any evidence of that. And if you look at the Department of Justice under Joe Biden, they named a special counsel, totally independent, not only from the president, but from the attorney general. There's no evidence that Joe Biden ever spoke to Merrick Garland about any individual case. This is Donald Trump's victimhood trying to politically protect him from all of his own misconduct. And it is his word that they went after him, that he has managed to convince a lot of people of. There's no doubt about it. But there's no evidence to support it, as opposed to his executive orders directing the Department of Justice to investigate his enemies or his adversaries, or a DM or a tweet that directs the Attorney General to charge.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it right there for now. But up next, we talk to a panel of experts about politics on the other side of the Hudson. What a week for politics in New Jersey. Here to help sort it all out, political strategist Jeanette Hoffman and Peter Woolley, the founding director of the School of Public and Global Affairs at Fairleigh Dickinson University. So first up, we have to talk about the latest developments in the race and the release of the Naval Academy records of Mikie Sherrill. Does this help? Does this hurt? What's your take?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's a very exciting week in New Jersey politics. I think in regards to the Naval Academy records for Mikie Sherrill, it's certainly going to be an issue because it was just discovered that she actually didn't walk at her Naval Academy graduation because she was implicated in some kind of cheating scandal. And so Mikie Sherrill has made her entire political personality about being a Navy helicopter pilot. You ask her anything, her answer will be, I'm a Navy helicopter pilot.
Do you think it hurts?
Yeah, I think it has yet to play out. I think that it possibly will help her, that this is a scandal which, if she has accurately characterized it, will simply go away. But if she has mischaracterized it, it will hurt.
But you think it's going to hurt her?
I think it is, because she won't disclose her own records. So the fact that she's not being transparent about it will let people draw their own conclusions, like she's hiding something.
But what about the issue that the records were somehow obtained by somebody who is a friend of Mr. Chitterelli? Does that help her or hurt her? Does it hurt the Chitterelli campaign?
Well, I think she's trying to distract and play the victim here. Of course, some information was disclosed that shouldn't have been, and it was a technician.
Her Social Security number.
Yeah, and that was a mistake, and they admitted it was a mistake. But what was disclosed, the fact that she cheated, was not disclosed by National Archives. Sure. That was something she admitted to.
Do we know that she cheated, or just that she wouldn't? She claims that she wouldn't tell the tale of somebody else who cheated.
Exactly. So we don't really know what the facts are at root. But if her version turns out to be true, I think it probably will not hurt her, and it may rebound in her favor. After all, her privacy has been attacked, and there are a lot of people out there who think that not being a snitch is a good thing.
Well, and that's all the more reason why she should disclose her Naval Academy records to clear this all up. Because if she doesn't, it looks like she's hiding something.
But here's the question. Should there be an investigation of how these records were released and how they were obtained?
Sure, I'm all for transparency. It looks like a technician just made a mistake.
Possibly, but you have to see she's drawing that parallel between what's going on in the White House and what just went on in the campaign. And that is, the story is the president is weaponizing the White House and the federal government. He just had Jim Comey, the FBI director, arrested. So this story fits neatly into the story that's already being produced out of the White House.
So basically you were saying that given the fact that you claim that the White House is weaponizing the Justice Department, there's not much chance that they're going to investigate this case?
I think they may investigate it, especially if they know they have nothing to do with it. But what I'm saying is the story fits neatly into what's happening already at the national level.
Do people care about this story?
That is a good question, because it's a governor's race. It's very important. It's going to say a lot about how voters feel about the Trump administration. But also the fact is the turnout is going to be low. You're going to have about just 40% of eligible voters turning out. And you have a lot of voters out there who may be following this a little bit, but that's not the center of their lives as it is for example, close political observers.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it is going to be an issue because, as I said, she keeps talking about her Navy record. In fact, there's a helicopter on her lawn sign. So, she's got to talk about her record, and she should disclose what happened in this cheating scandal. Is it, as she says, I just didn't rat other people out, or was she implicated? She didn't walk at graduation. Even CBS reports her name wasn't even on the graduation program. So she's got to disclose what exactly happened.
But she was commissioned as an officer, and she did, work as a helicopter pilot to some acclaim. I mean, those are things she's been able to talk about.
And so she should release her record and let people know what exactly happened here.
So let's talk about the latest poll, an Emerson University poll, which basically has the race tied. 43-43, 11% are undecided. Here's the question. Is this poll an outlier because all the other polls have had her way ahead, or does this show the development of the race and the negative commercials, the effect of the negative commercials that Mr. Chitterelli has been airing?
I think it's an outlier because it's only one poll, and so it remains an outlier until we have other measurements to compare it to. But I would say whether it's an outlier or not, there is a little hint in there of a problem for Mikie Sherrill. And that is there's a gap of about 7 points, which should be her lead, between disapproval of the president and her support, between people who say that they want the governor to stand up to the president and her support. So that suggests to me a mobilization problem for her, a little lack of motivation.
But let's talk about that, because as I read the poll, there was certainly a lack of popularity, a lack of favorability on the part of the president, but an equal lack of support and favorability for Governor Murphy. So the question is, who ties who to which person? Obviously, Mr. Ciattarelli would like to tie Mikie Sherrill to Governor Murphy, and obviously Mr. Ciattarelli would like to tie her, the same way. So who's going to win here? Is it going to be a popularity contest between Mikie Sherrill and Donald Trump, or is it going to be a popularity contest between Murphy and Trump?
Well, you just described the whole shape of the race, right? So the Sherrill campaign is about tying Jack Ciattarelli to Trump and his unpopularity and national policies. The Ciattarelli campaign is basically about what has the governor done for you lately and what can I do for you? So it's a Jersey versus national politics setup.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Mikie Sherrill is trying to nationalize this race, but everybody knows our property taxes are decided by Trenton, by the State House. Our energy rates in the past couple of years have gone up because of Phil Murphy, because of Trenton. These issues aren't decided by Donald Trump. And Mikie Sherrill is trying to nationalize this entire race, and she's doing so at her peril. And I'll say this poll is not an outlier. It's showing the progression. The past couple of polls have shown a 6-point race, and now it's getting much tighter. And that reflects what we're seeing here on the ground. Jack Ciattarelli is talking about local races, and New Jersey voters know that's what's deciding this race.
There's another issue in New Jersey. Since, I think, 1960, a governor from one party who served 2 terms has not been followed by a governor of the same party. So by that calculus, it would be difficult to elect a Democrat. Do you think that's going to hold this time, or is it going to be a change?
Yeah, I mean, listen, 8 years, Governor Murphy, we have the highest property taxes in the entire country. We have the highest business tax rates in the entire country, one of the highest unemployment rates in the entire country. We need a change, and that's what Jack Ciattarelli is talking about.
I think you want to say something here.
I think an interesting piece of the Emerson poll, it was a series of questions about who is responsible for various things in New Jersey, including property taxes, while a plurality of people say that the governor is responsible for property taxes. And, of course, that's always the conversation in these campaigns, as Jeanette is pointing out. But the fact is, property taxes are driven mainly by schools and then by municipalities and then by county governments. The governor has some influence over how this plays out, but the governor is not the main influence on property taxes.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it right there for now, but our conversations continue right after the show on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. Thank you for joining me. The New York City mayor's race has captivated voters with its intensity and cast of characters. But what do New Yorkers want in the next resident of Gracie Mansion? They're weighing in on your point. What's the top issue for you in the mayor's race?
Safety.
Equality.
Mayor's race, no more scandal.
The war, the violence, the crime.
Oh, aren't you lovely? I think the top issue would be taking care of the homeless problem in the city.
Transportation problem, where train delay and all kind of nonsense.
Not allowing our current president, to separate us is our biggest issue right now.
The subway, safety, because many times I'm in the subway and these crazy people want to attack me.
I'm going to see Curtis Lee will win.
What's the top issue?
Oh gosh, corruption, ineptitude. I like Sliwa because he's honest as the day is long.
I'm not a Madami fan. From what I hear, he's a socialist, and he wants everything to be free for everybody, which is a good comment, good concept, but I don't know how that can be implemented.
So what's the top issue that you care about?
I don't want him being the mayor.
So if the race were held today, who do you think would win?
Mandavi.
I think Ramdani would win.
Probably Mamdani.
Zohran Mamdani.
Why do you think?
Everyone wants him. We need him, truly. We truly need him.
You know who I would like to win, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen.
Well, who do you want to win?
Mr. Mamdani.
I'm hoping the new guy. I hope the other two guys split the votes, and what's left over is more than the other two.
I'm hoping Cuomo would win, but it looks like Mamdani is going to take it.
Cuomo against Mamdani, Cuomo would win.
I'm not going to predict because I'm an optimist, and I'm just hoping it's Sliwa.
Who would think will win today? Mamdani.
Why?
He's ahead in the polls and he has a wave of popularity. But I'll be honest with you, I'm afraid of the youth. 33 to 34.
Do you think a lot of people are undecided about who to vote for?
Yes, and I don't think people do enough research into who they're voting for. That's why we got stuck with Trump, and they're all regretting it now.
What great questions. I don't know a lot of people.
Yeah, because I didn't make up my mind until 5 minutes ago.
I don't think a lot of people make up their minds yet. People are still searching, to see which one is better.
I think the main election, you'll get people changing their votes from the primary. Particularly, you got a big collection of new Jewish voters in New York City, and we're very concerned about crime and a lot of other issues. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't speak to other Jewish people about it, but I would think that's how they feel.
I think it's 50-50, and I think if you haven't made up your mind, it's definitely the time to really crunch down, look at all the evidence, and make a proper decision in your eyes.